Could be sort of tentatively back.
Yeah. I know, like you were with me like back when we first started this thing. I think you were on like the second or third episode.
Yeah, what? Might have been second and third. I'm not sure. I was on 2. I remember that.
Yeah, that's right. That's cool, man. I'm glad I'm talking to you again. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. I wanted to know like what you've been up to lately. It seems like you don't. Well, it seems like based on your posting history that you haven't been involved with the forums as long as, or like involved with the community as much. Have you been like busy with other stuff?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've actually relocated.
Oh, okay.
Since we last. Yeah.
Where are you now?
Auckland. It's the biggest city in New Zealand, and it shows. It's been a bit of an upheaval.
Yeah. Where were you living before that?
I was living in a little town up north, and like it was a bit difficult staying there. Like we all know 2016 sucked, right?
Yeah.
just generally kind of sucked, and for me, it had like that suckiness also had like a personal sort of outlet, let's say.
Oh, geez.
It sucked for me in a specific way, just for me.
Oh,
I'll leave it at that. But basically, I had to get out. I had to get out of there, and I got an apartment down in Auckland and moved down there.
That's cool, man.
And things haven't really lit up, which is kind of annoying.
Oh no.
I'm trying to inch my way back into doing Doom stuff, so
okay.
Might find sort of equilibrium eventually.
That's good. I was going to rag on you for like not making as many maps lately, but I just realized that like you've made like a shit ton of maps. Like you have your own megawad, and you were doing like Abyssal Speedmapping sessions for like the longest time. So you've probably done like probably over 50 maps by now.
Have I really? I
it
actually,
seems like it.
It's quite funny. I've actually got a Doom wiki page. Let me have a look.
Yeah, you've made a ton of stuff, and then you have some other like works in progress and stuff that you're working on too.
I kind of feel bad as to how I got it. I was gasbagging on IRC, and I was just like, oh, wish I had a wiki page, and then Eris just makes one. I feel like I was asking for it, which isn't quite the way you do it, but
good old Eris.
Still.
He's such a nice guy.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Shame he doesn't map.
Yeah, I know. I talked to him on the podcast once before, and he was telling me a little bit about some of the problems that he runs into with mapping, and I gave him some ideas on like how to like plan maps in advance, and I don't know, some other stuff that like he could work on as far as like, I know he suffers from mapper's block. He seems to like not be proud of anything that he creates. At least that's what I got from listening to him on the show, and that's a common problem with a lot of different people.
Yeah, not just Doom mappers, like artists in general. Like,
yeah, right.
I've been fraternizing with a different crowd as of late, and I've met quite a lot of artists who come into those sorts of things.
Oh yeah,
Tell them to get out, but they can't see that, and they do hit blocks quite a lot.
What kind of art do they do?
It's fan art sort of things.
Oh, fan art. Okay, so like pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just pictures and stuff like and such.
Yeah. That comes. It sucks with like creative blocks and stuff. There's like, it's you don't always know what to do with it. And I know. I talk a lot of. I try to give people advice on like how to deal with mapper's block. But I myself haven't created many maps in a while. I do like open up the editor once in a while and like play around with some stuff. But I got this a couple projects that I'm working on that are kind of like hobby projects. I'm not even sure if I'm ever going to finish them. But it's fun just to mess around with the editor and stuff. But yeah, I run into mapper's block myself sometimes. It's just stinks when it happens.
Yeah, I've probably got like about 5 different projects that I jump in between.
Yeah.
If I get blocked on one, I jump to the other. Sometimes it works. Been focused on one particular one for a while now. It's a secret. It's
a secret. Oh, you can't talk about it?
Well, not too much of a secret, but sort of a secret.
Yeah, right.
It's been something I've been working on for years. I can give you a hint. It's one big map. I'm not good at making big maps.
Yeah, that's right. You make a lot of really small maps.
Yeah, I envy Mechadon and his big, huge maps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mechadon...
How does he do it?
I don't know. He has the patience of a saint. I like to I like pretty short maps too myself. That's just it's easier for me to do. Like when I look at some of Mechadon's maps, especially what he's been doing lately with Supplice, it blows my mind. I wish I had the diligence that he had in order to make the kind of maps he does. It's just amazing.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. I tend to kill all the I tend to type in kill monsters and then just walk through them.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Crimson Pacifist types and kill monsters instead of doing no monsters.
Yeah, he has a way of like detailing that's just like unlike anybody else's. It's I don't know how he puts like the same amount of attention into every room that he designs, especially with how considerably large his maps are. He just like the amount of attention that he puts into each one is it's consistent all around, and that's what makes it so great because you don't deal with like you're not playing a map where like maybe like the start room's like super detailed and then it just kind of gets boring after that and like really like lackluster. He's like consistent the whole way through, and it's
I've actually kind of know how he does it because he maps in stages. Like he does layout and then monster placement and then detail. And I think that's how he gets that same level of consistency. Like maybe he'll do the layout and then take a break for a bit and then move on to the other things. I make it up as I go along.
Yeah,
and that's why I make big maps. I'm still doing that with the big map I've got, and it has taken 3 years. So.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've been trying to. The biggest problem that I run into with mapping is having enough time for it, and I'm trying to think of like ways that I can like kind of space out my mapping process because I don't like it when I start to work on a map and then I have to take a break and then exit out of it and then save it and then come back to it like maybe like a week later. Like I don't remember where I left off. And that screws me up. So like what I used to do is when I would make a map, I would basically work 6 hours straight until the map was finished. And so that's how like most of my maps take about 6 hours. And people were like, when I first got into mapping, people were impressed with how fast I could do it, but it wasn't really because I probably put about the same amount of time as other people, except I guess other people work on a map, save it, and then come back to it. And I would just work on it nonstop until it was done.
I did. Sorry, I'm interrupting you all the time. It's awful.
No, you're not interrupting. No, you're not interrupting me. It's cool.
Okay. But yeah, I sometimes do something similar if I want to hammer out a map for a project like really quickly. I'll do like a 4 hour straight thing. Sometimes listen to the same song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. It usually produces some interesting results.
Yeah.
My map for Nova 2 was made like that, and so was my map for this year's Mayhem.
Oh, okay. That's
cool. Just listen to one song over and over and working on the map. It works for me at any rate.
Yeah, music really helps. That's a huge thing. If I'm not listening to music, I don't think I can like actually finish the map that I'm working on.
Yeah.
I just get like
try to do
different genres of music.
Like sometimes I listen to cruisy stuff, and like I think it all produces the same result, which I find kind of funny. Cruisy stuff, angry stuff, whatever I like, and things keep chugging along.
Yeah, I was talking to
I suppose the music outside of my head doesn't interfere with the music inside.
Yeah, I was talking to Tormentor in the last episode, and he was telling me a little bit how he listens to music, and sometimes like he listens to like soundtracks of movies and stuff while working on. He was telling me he was working on Wolfendoom: Blade of Agony, right? And he gets his inspiration by like looking at other like World War II styled games, and he looks at like pictures of like World War II stuff and tries to like recreate it. And he listens to like soundtracks from those games, and some of them can be like very like melancholic, and other ones can be a little like really tense and like chaotic almost. And he uses that as like kind of like a way of like setting a mood for his map. Like that kind of like puts him in the zone while he's designing it and gives him inspiration. And it's interesting to think that like there's like different genres of music that you could listen to that might influence the kind of style of map that you make. And from what you're describing, it sounds like it's not working for you, but but it might work for some people.
I think I have a clear idea of I think I have a clear general idea of what I'm going for, but the bits and pieces of it I just make up as I go along.
Yeah.
So maybe if you study my maps, you'll find the bits where this where you swapped over from death metal to jazz or something like that.
Yeah.
Journey.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you something. I know you've done a lot of speed mapping in the past. That's like,
that's the thing I'm known for, which is hilarious because I'm not good at it.
Yeah, but it's a good mapping exercise. I wanted to ask you something that I've been thinking about lately is working on like in terms of like developing yourself as a mapper, not so much like releasing your own projects. How much do you value a skill like imitation? Like, for example, like looking at a map that somebody else made and being able to recreate it yourself.
So you're talking about the importance of imitation in your own work, or?
Yeah, like if you like, let's say that you're a new level designer and you look at somebody that inspires you, like say you saw like a map by Skillsolve or something, and you really admire his style, and you're able to like recreate it yourself just by looking at the scene. But that not necessarily to like release the map and show it to other people. But I feel like that's like an important skill as far as like working on like your ability to like create a good looking map. Does that make any sense? Like like for example, like the one of the first projects I know you for is you did something that was like similar to Ultimate Simplicity, but using like vanilla limitations, right?
Oh yes, that was fun.
Yeah, what was that project again? I forget what it was called.
It's called Operation Hydra, and
yes.
I'm still kind of proud of it. Like it's been how many years since I made that? Like maybe like 3 or 4, but I am still somewhat proud of it.
Yeah, it came out really good.
The mapping was bog standard simplicity stuff, but the DeHacked work in it, I really like what I did with it.
Yeah, you did some awesome stuff. Like you caused like there was a part where like a wall exploded. Because like I guess like a bruiser, like one of the cyber bruisers blew it open, and then you actually had to fight a cyber bruiser, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
there was a lot of really cool stuff in it.
It was fun to make. It was more of an exercise in fiddliness than it was an exercise in mapping itself. I spent the whole time I was making that, I was studying the map Austerity by Torm.
Oh yeah,
because I wanted to make it so convincing that people would think that they were actually playing a Z-Doom map. I'm looking at all the incredibly needless detail and seeing how much I could get away with, because this was vanilla and I was still adhering to the limitations.
Yeah.
It was fun working my way around. I even tried putting in a cheeky slope at one point, but those are really stupid in vanilla.
Yeah, it's hard to fake those.
It's literally one sector height, one pixel height sectors, with no textures on the sides, and it's kind of jarring.
Yeah, I've been wondering that myself. I've been trying to see if there's like a way to make like a convincing vanilla slope, but I'm not sure you can. I tried something with like middle textures where like you have like a middle texture that's like shaped like a slope that you use on the outsides of it, and then use like a Hall of Mirrors effect in the middle of it to make it look like a slope, but I can't really get it to look right.
Yeah. Hold on. Excuse me. I think the best way to do that is to do like the same thing that people do to have like fake 3D visual effects in like vanilla and boom maps when you use black textures.
Yeah.
That's probably the way to do it, but it'd look kind of icky considering you're actually walking on it and not viewing it from a distance.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like in Action Doom 2, they have like those cars that are made out of middle textures, and they use like black for the windows, and it looks really good. It looks like actually like pretty 3-dimensional. But
I'll be honest, I haven't played Action Doom 2 yet.
How dare you? It's so good.
I played Action Doom 1 and I really liked it, but 2 I have not gotten around to playing yet. I don't know why. I really should.
Well, I think Action Doom 1 has those cars too. It has I think there's like a city level where there's cars in it, and it has like, or maybe it does use slopes. I can't remember. But
I actually can't remember this.
But Action Doom 2 has some like pretty interesting like middle texture trickery to get that like cell shaded look.
Yeah, I really do need to look at that sometime.
Yeah,
I'm doing myself service by not looking at it. Why am I so honorary all of a sudden?
Yeah.
I can blame my mate for that. I used to actually, funnily enough, I actually used to hold sessions while I was at his house. Like I was on my laptop, and he'd be doing something on his computer in the corner, and I'd be gas bagging with all the other people speed mapping. That was fun. People seem to like him, hearing him on call. So
Yeah.
It's a win-win sort of thing. He actually, I think he tried mapping for one of the sessions, but considering he doesn't map like at all, it ends up being a full thing. It was, what did he call it? Oh yeah, he called his map Naughty Necro Blasphemy. That's what he called it. He's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
He also had this one huge map that he was working on called Main Street USA, but that never got finished.
Those those speed mapping sessions were like amazing for like crazy map titles. the crazy stuff that people come up with. Do you remember any, like, in particular, like what were some of the best ones?
What? Some of the best ones? I'm not allowed to choose any of mine, am I? I
you can choose yours.
I do.
If you want to be that pretentious guy. I'm just kidding.
I know. One is bum-ba-dum-ba-dum. That is the best. That is the best song. The best villain map title. That was Gifty. Because he put the Inspector Gadget theme in everyone's head on call, and then he calls his map that and uses the Inspector Gadget theme.
Oh man, that's amazing.
There was. Can I use the word memes here? I probably can. There were so many memes to do with the sessions.
Yeah, that's right.
It was mostly Gifty. Do you know Gifty?
Yeah, I've seen his maps before.
Yeah, he's actually really good at maps. He hasn't done much, but I don't think he gives himself enough credit.
Yeah.
But, a lot of the things come between him and his mate Osiris, who are sometimes on call.
Yeah.
And they come up with the most hilarious stuff. There was one session where they were just doing the Bane voice back and forth. I was born in it. Just crap. Oh, good times.
Yeah, I miss those, man. Those were fun. Someone else is doing something.
Little speed mapping sessions. I saw
that's
those.
right.
I haven't looked at them in full, but I'm curious as to how they work. I might actually look them up now.
Yeah, I hope they're fun. It sounds like a really cool thing.
I'm mapping while we're working, so
yeah.
That's actually a really good exercise. It's not sucking cock while mapping, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's not quite that, but but it is yeah, speed mapping sessions are fun. I wish I had more time to participate in them. I don't know. I run into I don't know, just like real life obligations and stuff. So I can't like be around for these like specific events. But I'm so happy that they're happening. It's cool to see people working together and designing their own projects or like mapping just for fun, not for like any specific projects and visions and stuff. It's just like it's a good practice exercise.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It like shapes your skills for like what you can do later on. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely a good test of your skills. Not so much Alfonso, of course. Oh yeah, that was another meme. The old what did I call it? It was I can't remember. I'd have to. Again, there's a page for the sessions. I got permission to make it. So what did I call it? The Alfonso treatment. There we go.
The Alfonso treatment.
Hour. And then he took it even further. He'd still be mapping 3 hours in. And we had Alfonso overdrive, and it was ridiculous. I think he was just trying my patience. Because he's capable of speed maps. He's capable of them. I was on the last TTV session that they did, and he actually made a map in about the amount of time. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it took a little bit longer. I can't remember. It was ages ago. I don't know. There was a lot of support 3 in his map because he couldn't be asked texturing. Which I can't blame him for. Honestly, I waste too much time texturing on my maps. All the little things got to align them just right.
Yeah, it's crazy with speed mapping because you really have to like decide what you're doing with the map like pretty much right away. Like you have to finish, like you can't scale it too high because if you try to make a map that's too big, you're going to have too many lines to texture and you're going to run out of time. And and then you have to do thing placement and all that stuff. So you have to like kind of know in advance how long it takes you to do things in order to make a decent map in a short amount of time.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I still don't think I'm very good at speed mapping. Like most of the maps that I made, I could probably write off as pretty garbage. You know, but looking at all, I'm not happy with them, not at all.
Yeah, but it's still like a good practice exercise.
That one was all right. I'm actually looking through all these now. That one was all right. That one was bad. That one was that was still bad. That one was like that was built onto another one, so that's kind of all right. That one's bad. That one, that's all right. That one's awful. That one was me using a track from a horror game and using meat textures everywhere because I was trying to be edgy. So that was awful. That was awful. I think that probably the best map I made was the last one in which I was the host. I think that's the best one I made the best one for. I actually ended up... Oh, my God, I just remembered that. Do you remember when I tried doing a community project based around the sessions?
I don't know. What was the community project about?
It was called Into the Void, and the basic idea was that it was sort of like what the Russian community does with their speed maps, how they build on them and then like release them as white map.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Done. And honestly, I think it would have worked if it weren't for everyone else. I did my best to make everything all spread out nicely, explain the rules decently, and I got a lot of people signing up, but they never did anything. The only one who submitted a map other than me was Pinchy.
Yeah, what's up with that? In community projects, that happens a lot. Like people will start a community project, and then there's a lot of there's this big like snowball effect where like everybody's interested, and then once you get like halfway through the project, people just start dropping like flies, and you can't find them anywhere.
Yeah. And I somehow hit that early. It's kind of like getting a midlife crisis at 25.
Yeah, that's something that happens, though.
I still think the idea could work, but it needs other people's enthusiasm in order to get off the ground, because I can't make the maps myself.
Yeah, right. I don't know what to do about that. Like, how do you get people charged up and motivated to work on a community project? Because I ran into trouble like that with myself when I worked on Mutiny. Like about halfway through it, I wasn't really sure what to do. I tried like posting screenshots every once in a while, and that got people interested. But it only worked for like only a certain amount of time before people just kind of like went on and did their own things.
Yeah, I still have my unfinished Mutiny map kicking around.
Oh yeah.
Well, sort of actually. I remember when I was talking about like some map that I work on, you said I could use it as a credits map, but I never finished it, and I ended up like merging it with the other one and then not doing anything with it.
Yeah.
There's probably a decent shell there that I could use for something, but I haven't thought of it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of like work in progress type maps. I have this whole folder on my desktop called Map Pile, where I just store everything that I've not finished. And there's just a ton of WAD files in there, and a lot of it's pretty good. I just have to like make a use out of it. Like I just have to decide what to do with it, and like stitch it to some other map or something, and then something cool will come out of it. But it's
Mutiny map. You call it the green pile.
Yeah, I do have like these works in progress and stuff, and it's just I run into this problem where like if I come back to a map that I started a long time ago, I don't know how to continue with it because I had like an idea at the time, and when I come back to it, I just spend a lot of time just looking at it, trying to recreate that vision in my head so I can like continue it with it again. And that just takes a lot of time, and sometimes it doesn't come, and then it's just not it's just disappointing, so I just give up on it.
Yeah. I get that with some maps, but not all of them. It's kind of odd because I think I start every map with with a theme, like an idea of what it could be. Like no layouts or anything. It's basically just a bubble of an idea.
Yeah.
And that stayed with me, but the actual ideas of the map itself, the little bits and bobs, I tend to forget those.
Yeah.
Also happens with DeHacked patches. I look at some of the stuff I did, and I wonder why I did it. Like, there's a frame all the way over here. Good grief, what was I doing with that?
Yeah,
I don't want to screw up patches. That's awful.
Yeah, DeHacked patches are definitely, those are things that are like hard to come back on because sometimes DeHacked is kind of weird because like when you're working on it, you're just like, you have an idea of what you're trying to do, and it's just like a long process of like trying to get the things to work the way you want to, and like remembering the thing IDs and all those tiny little details. Like you have to like take notes while you're doing it if you want to like start a project and then come back to it another time. It's crazy.
I should probably do that. I should take notes. I should take notes in general in life, honestly.
Me too. Me too. I definitely need to take more notes. I keep a notepad next to my desk though. Like if I get like an idea for a map, I'll like draw it out real quick, or I'll like write down an idea of like a cool trap or something. But I gotta do that more often.
That's a thing I hear a lot about people who draw their maps.
Yeah.
And I've never done it, but it's an interesting idea. Like I feel like the ideas might not work when you put them into practice, so that's why I don't do it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think I have like kind of an idea of how I do it, and I might make like a tutorial on this someday on Doomworld. But I think what I would do is when I'm designing a map on paper, I draw like rooms as like main rooms as just like little bubbles. They almost look like deflated balloons. They're just kind of like these little shapes, so I can get an idea of how big they're going to be. And then I just draw them, and then I write like a little detail in them, like this is where the red key goes, or this is where the super shotgun is, or this is where you fight 5 revenants in a row, or something like that. And I'll write that little detail inside the little circles, and then I'll just draw lines connecting them together, so like I know the progression of the map. And it doesn't look like what you would draw in Doom Builder. It just looks like a little quick diagram. And I just kind of draw those. I draw a couple of those until I find one that sounds pretty cool. And then after that, I draw a second draft, which is a little more detailed. And then it draws like the shapes of the rooms and like where the entrances and exits in each room are, if there's going to be stairs and stuff in it, what the layout's going to look like. But I know some people, I've seen drawings of people's maps where they draw them like vertex by vertex, where like it actually looks like the sectors they're going to draw. And I think that can be a little problematic because like you don't really get a good sense of how big the room's going to be when you draw it on paper. So like sometimes you can imagine a really big room, and then once you draw the sizes, like draw the lines based on what you drew on paper, the map comes out like way differently than what you thought it was going to look like, and that's when it kind of sucks. But if I draw like the diagrams and like just like a quick draft of like what the map is probably going to look like, I use that as a reference when I'm designing my map, because I can keep looking back at it and like remember what I was going to do next and what this room should look like and things like that. And all of like the texturing and the sizing and detailing, that all kind of comes naturally to me in the editor, so I don't have to draw that on paper. But just having like the layout there on paper, it gives me a pretty good idea of like how close I am to finish as I'm working on the map. And that keeps me focused.
But like think about that. That's kind of like an extension of what I do. Like extension of having the general idea bubbles living in my head. But you get it down on paper and you break it into bits and figure out how it all goes together, and that's really good.
Well,
I should do that at some point. I really should once I
Yeah, it's a cool thing.
To do so. It's been stressful.
Yeah. Well, the only time I really get a chance to do it is when I'm doing it, like maybe like when I have downtime at work or something. I never actually like come home and do it in front of the computer because it's just so tempting to just go into the editor and just try it myself.
Yeah.
But when I'm like
can't access a computer, that's a good idea.
Yeah, if I'm at work or something and I can't use my computer at home, then I'll like draw it on paper, and that usually comes in handy when I come back to design my maps later.
Well, it's certainly given me a decent bit to think about, actually. Yeah, I quite like the ideas. I must try them sometime.
Yeah.
Again, Sean Connery, what the heck?
But
I into that very easily. I slip into different voices for different situations. It's ridiculous.
It's beautiful. It's actually really impressive. I wish I was more like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's actually kind of interesting. Like I know this isn't really Doom related, but a lot of people I talk to online seem to like my voice.
Oh yeah.
It's really weird. Like I've gone onto art streams and chatted, and people ask me to read out bits of writing they've done. They just do it in the comments and I narrate it. It's ridiculous.
It's very good. I like it. It's butter for the ears. I love it.
Let's play.
Yeah. But Alfonso's got that too. He has like that smooth accent that's like really interesting to listen to. Almost everything he says just sounds. It's so nice. Like how he describes things when he's talking about like when he's talking on things like Evolution of the Wild, and he's talking about stuff about Doom the way it did and all that stuff. And just the way he describes things is like it's very nice. Speaking of Alfonso, you probably heard about this duel that I'm having with him, right?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Like someone, I'm tempted to ask if someone can videotape it or something from like different angles, and then just give the video to me so I can do like a running narration of the whole thing.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I think some people are planning on streaming it.
If you guys are playing at the same time, then that might not be a good idea. I think that was an idea floated by me.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You guys should help while you're dueling.
I haven't really decided on a date yet because I'm busy this weekend. I'm busy the next weekend. I might be able to make it work the following weekend though. So yeah, I might actually announce a date when we actually start doing this. I'm pumped though, man. This is gonna be fun.
I'm actually curious who's gonna win.
Yeah,
honestly, it's difficult to choose sides, but
I wanted to ask you, who do you think is going to win? Let's say you had to bet. Or actually, let me give you a very unrealistic scenario. Let's say that your entire family and your extended family are in a room and they're sitting on chairs and they're tied all together back to back with barbed wire. And there's a guy in the room and he has a remote control and all of your family are carrying a stick of dynamite on their lap. And you walk into the room and you see your family and they're all tied up. And he says, "What's up, sucker? Who do you think's going to win?" For some reason, he's Ice Cube. And he's the whole Straight Outta Compton crew is there. And he wants you to decide who's going to win, Alfonso or 40 Ounce in this duel. Who do you pick?
That was a lot of setup. You could have just said life or death. The thing is, though, I don't actually know. I haven't actually seen your sort of prowess at dueling, because I know you used to. You in Skulltag?
Yes. Yeah, I played a good bit. Yeah, this is where it gets kind of tricky because I haven't played any multiplayer recently. But I did used to play a lot of public CTF on Skulltag, and I did really well. But that's public CTF, so I know people don't take that very seriously. So I don't know. I think it's going to be exciting.
I think it's going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty down to the wire as well, because Alfonso, he actually does do quite a bit of I cannot word. He does quite a bit of multiplayer, but the only multiplayer I've seen him in are the various videos that Alter has uploaded to YouTube of Joe Ilya maps.
Yeah, but he's been doing.
There's the key difference, between Alfonso when he's composed and Alfonso when he's not. You know, it's like he's not talking melodious on a Joe Ilya map.
Right.
I still remember this. This is my favorite video. It's them going into a map of Joe's, and it's literally a sky, water. I think you might know the one. It's sky and water and a whole thing full of plasma rifles. And, and Alfonso just makes this noise. It's just, just that.
Oh God!
Every single time. It's such a beautiful video.
Yeah, Joe Ilya is something else, man.
He is certainly a thing.
Yeah, he's a thing. He's a cool guy too. He's a cool guy too, though. I'm very thankful that he's such a prolific mapper, even if some of his maps are just water with sky and plasma rifles everywhere. Yeah. But he does some pretty cool stuff too. It's prolific in the way that someone throwing up is prolific in producing vomit. I'm sorry. I know I sound mean, but it's just a question of learning from your mistakes and improving, and he hasn't really done that all that much. Yeah. It's a bugbear, and honestly, I've tried to help him, but coupling that with his somewhat abrasive attitude, it is kind of difficult to try help him and sympathize. Yes, I understand that, and he's not the type of person who wants help. He likes what he's doing. He enjoys the mapping process, and he likes doing what he does, and he doesn't really want assistance. He'd get iffy if people didn't like his stuff or notice his stuff.
there was this fracas in the image thread where he posted some images that got completely ignored, and then Dragonfly posted some ZDoom images of this hallway that he'd made. Like, it wasn't a particularly special hallway. It was pretty, like, stripping away all the architecture would be pretty plain, but it looked really good with all the detail he put in, and then Joe just shits on it because he didn't get noticed. And this isn't something that happened in like 2013. This was it last year or this year?
I think it might have been last year. He's been banned for a while.
It was late last year. He didn't change. He signed up not long after me, and he's changed not an iota. And it's kind of sad. Like, I have changed. I used to be a malingering shit-gibbon. I won't lie.
A lot of people do. I think a lot of people, when they sign up for the forums for the very first time, they kind of make a jerk of themselves. I know I have. And I still have the reputation for it.
Yeah. I've sort of worked my way past that. I've done my best to bury that.
Yeah, me too. I always...
It's your forum software. You can't see what a moron I used to be.
Yeah, I try to be as helpful as I can. I've been working a lot on, like, creating tutorials and, like, posting interesting questions on, like, the Doom editing threads and giving people feedback on their maps and stuff like that. Just trying to be a helpful person. But, yeah, I used to get in arguments a lot. That's kind of like one of the reasons I started this show, is because I actually like discussing these, like, controversial topics and stuff. And,
I remember the second thing we were on where he ended up discussing Columbine. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Of course I saw where you were coming from with the thing, but it's still interesting.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if I were to do it again today, I would not say something like that today. It was just a joke that kind of fell flat.
Happens.
Yeah.
Also, M6. I remember that quite vividly.
What was that?
It ended like that. Like a snake biting its own tail, or an imp with its head up its ass. Oh, good times. Not exactly informative times, but good ones, nonetheless.
Yeah. Speaking of good times, what happened to Post Hell, man?
Oh, yeah, that is kind of a shame that vanished from the face of the earth. But who knows? Maybe it'll come back.
Maybe. Wishful thinking. I don't think it will come back, though. It doesn't seem like Linguica wants to do it. Or Linguisa, excuse me.
It's pronounced.
Yes, Linguisa.
I'm just going to call him a sausage. But
yeah.
Honestly, though, it makes sense. Because, like, it was supposed to be an example of what not to do, but people took it the complete wrong way and used it as a style guide, you know? It's like why Worst Wad was retired, because people were starting to shoot for it. They thought it was something to aim for, something to attain, and it totally wasn't. It was supposed to be a public shaming sort of thing, but
yeah. But every once in a while, I'll see like a status update that somebody posted, and they're like, "Wow, I'm glad that thread was deleted," and I'm like, "What thread? What thread?" And I have to go look for it, and Post Hell's gone, and it sucks when that happens.
Yeah,
because sometimes crazy stuff happens in there, and it's really fun to watch.
It is interesting to read. Like, honestly, I've read a lot of hilarious stuff in there.
Oh yeah,
but it's only the people who like, some people just shouldn't know it exists. Some people shouldn't read it. I think I'd be fine with reading it because I don't take it as a thing of what to do on forums.
Yeah,
but having it tucked away keeps the shitheads at bay. So I am kind of glad it's gone. I think shitting has gone down a bit since it has disappeared.
That is true. I'll give it that. I don't know. Do you think that's like a coincidence though, or do you think that's actually a cause of not having Post Hell anymore? I feel like it's a coincidence, but I don't know. What do you think?
You know what? Thinking, I'm not actually sure. I think it would have taken. Ooh, excuse me. Ooh, bit of indigestion. I think that it's the effect of Post Hell being gone took a little bit of time to take effect, but I think things have gone down slowly. I think that's what happened.
Yeah. it's such an I really liked Postel because like you could see like crazy threads that went down or like big arguments that needed to be shut down and stuff like that. I miss that kind of stuff. I like seeing those things.
Yeah, I miss reading, Matt Bratton, Brandon Delayed.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You could learn so much from Postel. You could learn the history of Doomworld.
Yeah, do people know who Brandon Delayed is? Because he's kind of obscure now. I don't know if he's still making sock puppet accounts. Brandon Delayed was this guy who he was kind of obsessed with ratings, right?
Yeah, I remember the whole story on him. I remember when I was at IRC and he was impersonating Jimmy.
What? Is that a real thing?
Not very well, obviously, but yeah, I can't remember what eventually shooed him away. I think someone just started asking him inane questions over and over until he left, which is just as well.
Yeah, I remember he sent me a few like private messages, like, "What was your opinion on Whispers of Satan?" And I was like, "That's a really weird thing to send in a private message." like what is your opinion on this megawad that you might not have even played? That was very weird. I mean, I did play Whispers of Satan at the time, but it was very strange because I never talked to him otherwise. And he wanted to know specifically if I would rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, which is really ridiculous. What is it? Like, was he was just so obsessed with numbers or something, or statistics or something?
What ratings give him validation or something? I don't know. Maybe he eats the stars. He lives off them.
Yeah, that's right. I remember like reading. Didn't he say? I think he made some threads where he was like, he was looking for stuff to play, and he wouldn't play anything unless it was greater than 3 stars, and then like he tried to encourage people to rate things higher so that he could bypass this rule that he made for himself to play WODs that were good. I was like, why would he need other people's input on something like that?
Yeah. I still think I remember, like, I haven't had much contact with him, but I do remember the one time I was on Twitch, and he actually started asking me questions in whispers. And I didn't know how Twitch worked at the time, so I was answering him regularly, so it would seem that I was just yelling out random things about megawads.
Well, as is every Twitch chat ever.
Valiant. I think Valiant is alright. Spring. Well, I'm not, what the hell? Eventually I just ignored him.
That's crazy. What are some other the crazy things that he did?
Well, apparently his mum contacted Doomworld.
Was that the same guy?
Yes, it was the same guy. There was something about. I think,
this is a funny story. People have to know this.
We've been contacted by his parents.
Okay, yeah. So, so Brandon Delayed was banned from Doomworld, and this was I don't know, like maybe 5-6 years ago, probably. Would you say?
Yeah. Brandon Delayed, like the initial Brandon Delayed account predates me. I know.
Oh, okay.
I joined after that was banned.
Okay, so it must have been like 8 or 9 years.
This procession of sock puppet accounts that ends up giving themselves away pretty quickly because he couldn't help himself.
That's right. Okay, so he made these accounts and he would occasionally like make these threads where you have to like rate this project on a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 5 or whatever. And I'm not like he was. It was he kept making these like repeat threads, so I guess he became a target for banning because he kept doing the same thing over and over again. And I guess he attempted to make these alternate ban evasion accounts to get away from the ban and disguise himself as somebody else and continue posting these surveys where people would rate these map sets so he could play them. And in doing that, after he got banned, he tried to contact Linguisa through email, I guess, and he got an email from the person's parents, I guess his mom, to like try and get him unbanned from Doomworld. Oh my god, what a ridiculous story. That's
not even the most ridiculous.
Yeah?
Which I find hilarious.
What do you think is the most ridiculous story on Doomworld?
It's tempting. There's a lot of candidates. There's Greg Colorado or whatever, the old human body allegory weird thingamajig.
I don't remember who that is.
You don't remember that one? It was this very odd. It was extremely odd. It was this one guy who who posted, like, his very first post was a regurgitation of random words and a WAD file link. And the WAD was very odd. It was like cats fighting against Hitler or something.
Wow.
And everyone started speculating as to what the hell it was. And I remember GGG Mork was still online at the time. And everyone was consulting him as the wise man, because he was the only one who could decipher this message. His answer was to stick a B in either ear, and then the oscillating drones would translate it for you. And everyone was taking the piss. It was great.
So GGG Mork, that guy's fascinating. I miss him. He always had like this crazy like conspiracy theory posts. Oh man, I missed that. That was
and the penis avatar, of course. We can't forget that.
Oh yeah, of course. He was something else, man. I miss a lot of the cool people. Do you remember George Fiffy?
I think he predates me.
Okay,
I know who he is, but I don't think I've ever seen him. George
Fiffy was he was a mapper from like way back in like 1994, and he was very pretentious. He was like probably one of like the most pretentious early mappers there were. Like he thought he made the best maps, and he made a lot of maps, and a lot of them were actually pretty good. But I remember he like rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But he stuck around in the community for a while, and every once in a while he would post a thread on Doomworld about these lifts, like these elevators that he would ride in like hotel rooms. Like he had videos of it. And he had this like very intimate fascination with elevators and I think trains. There's like some of those things were just like really interesting to him, and he just posted these topics every once in a while about elevators, and then people like it happened so many times, and people are like, okay, oh great, here's another George Fiffy elevator thread again, and that was just like something he was really fascinated in, but it started driving people crazy after a while, and he got really defensive of his hobby, and that got him in trouble.
All I can say is that I'm glad he never posted a thread called Elevator Goop.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Said about that, the better. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Unless he did post Elevator Goop. Please tell me you didn't.
Yeah, Google keyboard goop, or don't. You probably shouldn't.
I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah, it's probably not worth seeing.
Anymore. I've seen the entire gallery of goats. There's a whole gallery. It's not just the one picture.
There's a whole gallery? Oh my god.
It's a gallery. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It exists on this plane of existence.
It's a good thing though. I like that the internet's full of crazy people. I think that makes it entertaining for me.
Yeah. Crazy people make the world go around.
Yeah. Are there any other crazy people on Doomworld? Do you remember the Little Temple scenario?
Temple. Oh yeah. Yes, I remember that. Fondly. Well, not fondly. I remember it.
Yeah. So Little Temple. This was a person who posted on Doomworld, who
5 different people, right?
Yeah. He was the main account for like a group of people, and I guess he was called the Little Temple Group. And he posted this thread for this map that I guess he made or somebody that he knows made. And, well, I guess the thing was that he was trying to pass off this map as a map that was made by like a 6-year-old French girl that was like in their building or something.
Yeah.
And apparently she has like a knack for designing maps and was able to design this really cool map. And everybody's like, whoa, that's awesome. You did a map designed by a 6-year-old girl. That's pretty cool. And, it was like really got like some pretty positive reception until people were able to connect the dots and realize that he was just one person designing a map and like making up this story about how this girl was designing the maps when it was him the whole time. That's what's up with that, man? What's with these multiple personalities and that people have?
I recall at the time I wasn't as thick-skinned as I was now, and I was like, "Well, can't we just be friends?" So,
yeah, well, I defended them at first too because I wasn't sure how these people were connecting it together, and it didn't really register in my head. I actually believed this person. I thought there really was a girl that was designing these maps. And I mean, I don't know. Do you know how they found out for sure that it was one person?
I actually don't.
Neither do I. Okay.
I'm not sure I know how they figured it out. Interesting little animal. Probably not the best, but still somewhat interesting.
Yeah, there was probably some like Google searching involved when they started like naming names and stuff like that. And oh, that's crazy how that that's a pretty crazy thing.
Yeah, my favorite one is still Map Brat though. Map Brat was the best chronicle.
What does Map Brat do?
Oh yes, Map Brat. Have you seen the Map Brat map pack?
No, what's that?
It's like 2 or 3 maps stolen from other mappers, and then the rest are absolute garbage. And that isn't even the worst bit of it. The mapper like himself was really inept as well, like generally inept, and he kept trying to post about ideas he had for super-powered weapon mods, and he was doing it over and over and was ticking people off, and he was getting threatened with a ban, and he goes, if you ban me, I'll kill you back, and don't use bad words or I'll ban you.
Oh, like yes.
That. Yeah, it was like that, and he wasn't getting any sort of hint at all. I still remember when people actually started deliberately swearing at him to try and tick him off.
Yeah, I love when people are like on the road to getting banned, like they're getting warnings and everything, and then they just like lash out, like people are going to be like, oh wow, this guy's scary, I'm not going to ban him. Like, what do they think is going to happen?
Yeah. Also, I learned about the swear word fitbin. Thanks for that, Grezza.
What does that mean? I never even heard that.
I looked it up at some point. Hold on, let me... Shit, fuck, piss, ass cock. Need I go on? You forgot Barbara Streisand and Simprini. Not to mention fitbin. The world's worst swear word, according to Urban Dictionary.
The world's worst swear word?
Yeah.
Wow.
Viz Comics? What's Viz Comics?
I don't know, I never heard of that.
I've seen some comics over the years. I've seen Control-Alt-Delete, and I've seen all these comics with same face syndrome. It's really weird.
That's crazy. I wonder if there's not a lot of like crazy people left on DoomWorld anymore. There used to be like a lot of people who got away with stuff for a pretty long time. Like, do you remember like Andrew B? He's not crazy, but he did some pretty controversial stuff.
Is he banned?
I don't think. No, he's not. I've seen him post not too long ago. I think he just lurks. Because I remember looking him up on DoomWorld recently. Like I saw his profile and it said like last visited was like only a few hours ago. So I know he lurks a lot, but he doesn't seem to post as much anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, anything he would post today would get him in a lot of trouble. Because he's so he's such.
He has the. Let me check if he still had got that one custom title. Members.
He's
a member.
He's kind of an overly confident type of guy. To put it short.
Murder and then fabricate evidence to make it look like self-defense. Yeah, that's what he said.
He had a different custom title that was even better before that, and I think it was like something like, "Who cares if a girl is emotionally destroyed?" Or what do you say? Like,
what's the worst that could happen? A girl is emotionally destroyed. I can live with
that. Yeah, that's it.
I've read a lot of stuff about him in Post-Hail as well, and he was a dick.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're listening.
Well, he's a very good writer. I think his posts are like very well put together. He has a very good, like very wide vocabulary and a very strong way of writing his sentences. Like they're always like grammatically correct and everything. And he used to write like new stuff reviews a long time ago. But he's, I don't know, like when DoomWorld was new, it just seemed like this group where, or not a group, but a place where anybody who enjoyed Doom can get together, and there really weren't any rules. And so you just get like these very like wildly different types of people. So you get people like George Fiffy, who's obsessed with elevators and trains, and then you get somebody like Andrew B, who's who's super cocky and has no respect for women. And I don't know. He was pretty interesting though. even though he was like cocky and stuff, I like diverse personalities on DoomWorld. That's what I like the most. I like getting all different types of people who play Doom to be part of DoomWorld.
Okay.
And
People might get cheesed off by Memphis, but I don't mind him too much.
Really, you get cheesed off by Memphis? He's such a nice guy.
He's a bit odd. He can rub people up the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like he's sort of gone on a bit of a trajectory since I was here. Like, he was a bit more balanced when I started out in DoomWorld. He used to mostly content himself with giving critique on people's maps. That was mostly what he stuck to. He was a mapper, and that was about it. But it's a bit telling when someone shows their personality and that ruins them for you. It's more telling on our part than his, to be honest.
Yeah, well, he's an interesting guy because I think I don't know. He seems to be unsure of what the kind of maps that he wants to make. He seems like he's like when he talks about like maps that he's trying to work on, he always seems very pessimistic in how he describes his mapping process because it's like so I guess like manufactured and like shaped by criticism and not really his own just like creative imagination with no kind of things holding him back. It's I do kind of sympathize with that because I appreciate people who can design maps based on like purely on what they want in a Doom map and not necessarily what other people would want out of it.
Yeah, maybe like people critique his maps being a bit plain, but honestly, I like the simplicity to them. And
yeah,
I think it was a good feel to his maps. I liked his maps.
Yeah, his maps are very good, but the thing is that he's not proud of he's not proud of his own maps because I guess by reading reviews and stuff that his maps have gone kind of I guess they have like the mainstream tropes that he's been trying to avoid. So his attempts to like try and make mapping like a fun exercise and just like a creative outlet, it hasn't been working for him. And he seems almost like, well, he hasn't been talking about it much lately, but I remember reading some posts in the past where he was trying to tap into like this kind of mindset, I guess, when he's designing his maps that he can't seem to get. And it's like a kind of mindset that people have when they're designing maps and they don't know anything about the community. They don't know what kind of maps that people like, the kind of gameplay they like, what they want, like what kind of aesthetics make a good map. And there's like some kind of like a charm behind that. And
I it means, but honestly, I look back at my old maps that I made before I discovered the Doom community, and I don't like them. So some things are tropes for a reason. It's because they work.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like if you when you're playing somebody else's map, you can have a much higher appreciation for it than the level designer himself. Like, yeah. I mean, we're so obsessed with Doom, like with Doom, for example, and we're here talking about it 20 years later. But like, we don't have John Romero in the community talking about Doom. Like, he doesn't care anymore. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, he still does. He's still like, if you ask him a question on like Twitter or something, he'll answer. But I mean,
that reminds me, what is Black Room doing at the moment?
Oh, I don't know. I'm
actually genuinely curious about that now. I'm going to look it up. I'm just going to look up
this is what I know about it so far. It had a Kickstarter going for it, and there was like some like concept art that you could look at, and that was basically all of the information you got in order to back it up. So the Kickstarter wasn't doing so well right away. A lot of people contributed to it because it was John Romero and Adrian Carmack working together, but there wasn't any like gameplay demo or video or actually actual in-game screenshots that we could use to gauge if we actually wanted this game or not. So
yeah, they wanted to have a demo so they could actually let people know what they're getting into. I think they want to channel sort of shareware experience of Doom. So you could see it as a somewhat cynical thing, but honestly, it is good for people around to have something to gauge.
Yes. Yeah, so like I think like maybe a couple weeks into the Kickstarter, it was not getting as much attention as it should have, at least that they thought they should have. So they pulled the Kickstarter before it could fail its goal. and they made like a public announcement that they were going to come back once they had something to show people.
Yeah, and they haven't come back yet.
I haven't heard from them. I don't know what's going on. I haven't heard any news about it at all. I know I saw some. I was actually looking at Twitter recently, and I think it was either John Romero or Brenda Romero who posted an ad that they were looking for artists to join Romero Games.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. It doesn't have a whole lot here. The last thing it says on April 29th they cancelled the Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm speculating, I don't know if that means that Adrian Carmack isn't doing it anymore, or if Adrian Carmack just needs help. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I haven't heard any news about Black Room in a long time.
Yeah, it's a shame. That is a dang shame.
I know. It would be awesome to see John Romero making his shooter again.
Yeah.
He does some awesome work. Did you play his new maps that came out recently? He made well, not recently, but around the time of the last CAC Awards, he made two single maps.
Right. I recall playing both of them, almost finishing the first one, and then getting killed by the really fiddly Baron placement that he had, because it was a tiny room. I'm still not very good at Doom. So.
Yeah,
I've lasted this long.
It was pretty interesting. I was surprised to see in the first map, I think it was called Tech Gone Bad, where it had like those cracks in the ground that would damage you if you stepped on them. That was surprising. I didn't think he would design something like that, because he's never made anything like that in any of his other maps.
I think he's got a decent bit of imagination, but like, honestly, I feel like he's a bit like me. He's got imagination, but putting it into practice can be a bit rocky sometimes.
Yeah.
I've noticed that with a lot of auteur game designers like Hideo Kojima or Suda51, their ideas are lovely, but when they put them into practice, they're a bit clunky. Like Metal Gear Solid has some really imaginative set pieces and like stuff like Psycho Mantis and that sort of thing in the end.
Yeah.
Or the Sorrow. But the gameplay itself is a bit clunky from what I've seen. Metal Gear Solid 4 especially was sort of suffered from that, from what I've seen. And like I feel like that it shouldn't be an isolation sort of thing. It should it's probably a good thing that. Wait, hold on. I've lost my train of thought.
Yeah, well, it's a funny thing if you're like a really
for these sorts of things.
Yeah, it's a funny thing if you put too much thought into like the kind of like maps that you want to make. Sometimes that can kind of like screw up your project if you think too hard about it without actually putting them into practice. Because if you have like this whole plan out already and it requires that you do like all these different sets of steps in order to culminate together into like this huge epic project, if you're not like testing it along the way and like seeing if these ideas work before you actually like have this huge like if you put all these like interesting ideas together to form this amazing project, it's really important that all of these ideas actually work on their own before you actually create this giant project, because once it comes together it can really screw things up. And I ran into that mistake when I was working on UAC Ultra 2, because I had like all these like interesting ideas and things that I wanted to explore, and I wanted to put them all together in each map of the project. And somehow like these like things like making maps compatible with deathmatch and cooperative, and to work on Nightmare, and to have secrets that take up 60% of the level. Those were like pretty ambitious ideas, and I thought they were
collide into each other.
Yeah, exactly. They collide into each other, and it kind of it takes the focus away from any one of those cool ideas, because they're so just all together. Yeah. It's too much for a player who's playing it for the very first time. They can't really get an idea of what it's supposed to be. So like it's chaotic in some ways, and it's easy in others, and it's confusing in others, and it's kind of got kind of messy. So on my future projects, I'm a little more focused on what I want to do. And
focus is definitely important.
Yeah, and I try not to do too much planning in my head ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's just if I could give anybody advice, I think that's a good one, because I think some people, like when they start like community projects and stuff too, they have an idea, they have like a vision of what the project's going to look like, and then once people start working on it, it doesn't look like what they wanted it to in the first place, and they're like, "What the fuck, man?" And it gets gets all crazy, and it's because they like build up all these expectations in their head, and that's not going to help them when they have other people making maps.
Yeah, you sort of have to make your ideas gel with others.
Yeah.
But some teamwork and some focus is what you need to make good stuff.
Yeah. We're pretty lucky with something like Doom, though, because the tool set that you get, like just the monsters that you get and the weapons and the textures and stuff that just come with the game, are pretty. They work really well together just on their own. I mean, you could put like 20 imps and a shotgun in a room and it'll be fun. And that's like all you have to do. And just because Doom is just a fundamental, like just good on its own.
Yeah, it's a good basic set of tools. Like if you want complete control, then you make your own game. But this is a good stepping stone to get to that because the tools at hand are very simple.
Yeah, right.
But getting back to the thing about teamwork, like interestingly enough, I think I think it was you who posted that thing about mapping dream teams.
Yeah, that was me.
That? Like, I don't think anything came of that thread. Like, we don't have an eternal and skill saw map set, you know.
Yeah.
But it's interesting ideas, and like thinking about it, I would work well with someone else. If someone who can sort of rein me in with some of my crazier ideas. Like, the best example of that was map 30 of TNT Revolution. Have you played that one?
I haven't. I don't think I got that far in Revolution yet.
You didn't play map 30? That one was one I made with Dobu, who is great.
Yes.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. He's better than me.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, he is.
I had like quite a few ideas for where the map went, and the initial map was, it was all right, but probably it lacked polish. It lacked like some cohesiveness to bring together, and Dobu gave it that cohesiveness.
Yeah.
And I think like there was a bit of back and forward, and I wasn't in a great place at the time, like times of mapping, so it was a little bit difficult, but eventually it came together really well. And I think people generally like the end product because they had the sort of polish that Dobu gave it. I'm not good at polish. I'm good at ideas. I'm good at gimmicks.
Yeah.
But I need someone to help me with the fundamentals to make the whole thing come together nicely.
What was difficult about it? Did you find like your mapping styles were like clashing, or?
There was a little bit of clash. I think he replaced some bits like with some oddly more elaborate bits. Like the original intro for the map was like a little walk through this little ravine with towers on either side.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked quite good. Like it was vanilla, and it had a little cave bit that I quite liked. And that's been replaced by like almost like Thunderdome sort of opening up thing. Like it's this giant icon mouth that opens and you walk into it. And that was all Drew's idea. And I was a little down on it, but honestly, that is his style, and I'm not going to cramp his style. Like I said, he's better than me. So.
Yeah, that's something I found when I was working on Mutiny, because the idea of the project Mutiny was that I needed people to collaborate with each other as a means of quality control, and
have a bit of compromise, and I'm fine with that if the end product is good.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is if some people, when they're designing their mapping is kind of a solitary activity. It's you're kind of like realizing your vision, and if somebody else is adding on to the map with something that they visualize but maybe completely different than what you think of, that can create some tension because you guys are designing two different maps and trying to mesh them together in a weird way, and that can put a little bit of makes the gears kind of grind together a little bit. And
I think that's why like I've actually done like the mapping with someone else before that, but it was quite a few years ago, and I can't remember who I was working with. It wasn't called Captain Stupid, was he? It was something similar to that, but not
General
quite.
Rainbow Bacon, I think, right?
No, it wasn't him. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I used to map with him.
That's right. You guys, I remember you guys made that map. General Rainbow Bacon and Obsidian try to kill you.
Yeah, it was like honestly, I think the speed maps where he started out were better than the ones I started out because my one was cramped and it wasn't very good. Like he is more layout oriented and gameplay oriented, and I'm like gimmick and detail oriented.
Yeah.
So it kind of pushes together, And actually, in the obligatory megawad that I'm making, there's one map that the both of us made, and it meshes together the ideas pretty well. Even more so considering it's vanilla, and there has to be a bit of simplicity.
Huh.
I quite like the map. It's a good map. Plus, it's a library map, so that's always a plus.
Oh yeah, you love your libraries, man.
Love the library maps. Just another hint: the big map I'm making is a giant library map. Just satisfy my fetish.
Yes, you need more books. You can never have enough books.
I'm just going to reshuffle these books, just fiddle around with these books. This is getting weird.
Yeah, I like the library textures too.
Not only Captain Tone earlier, but there was this other project where we were trying to get two people to map together, like one at a time, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I hit that thing where the ideas clashed, and the map got taken in a completely different direction to what I was trying to take it, and I couldn't cope that time, and the map ended up getting abandoned along with the rest of the project.
And
so it is a question of compromise and communication. You need a lot of that.
Exactly. That's what I think it is too. I would definitely agree on. I would definitely say communication is super important. But yeah, I guess there is a level of compromise, I think, too, because if you're working with somebody else, you kind of have to let things go in their direction. I don't really know. I would like to look into that a little bit further and think of maybe what is the best way to work on a collaboration where you're not necessarily stepping on each other's toes, but you're still working together. I know there are some people, for example, Dario Casali and Maiola Casali, they worked on their own maps for Platonia, and it came together really well because their styles worked pretty well, and they were trying to compete with each other. And
I think I liked Milo maps better, but that's just me.
Yeah, and there's I don't know, when it comes to if you're working with somebody else, maybe you could work on separate parts of a map and then try to stitch them together in a snap map sort of way. I don't really know. I mean, I guess it would be interesting to try to think of ways that mappers could work together on the same maps without compromising each other's style or affecting their vision or something. I guess I would assume it has a lot to do with communication. I think it has a lot to do with motivation too. If both people are are equally interested in the project, they'll work together much better than if one person's really interested and the other person's not.
I think the snap map idea sort of thing is good, and it actually reminds me of that one project, Exquisite Corpse, which there was supposed to be a sequel for, and that never happened. I wonder what happened with that. But that was quite literally stitching bits of map together. And it's been a while since I played the original Exquisite Corpse, but I recall it being pretty cool. Being pretty decent. It was basically 9 mappers making the same map, and
I wonder.
Did it work? I wonder if it.
Huh. Yeah, I remember what you're talking about. I think when Guisa started that project, right?
I'm still getting used to that being pronounced that way. Yes, that was him.
Yeah, it's. I wonder if that's kind of the way to do it. I wonder if we could kind of combine what I was saying earlier about the drawing maps on paper, where you kind of draw a diagram of what the map should look like, and then and then have if you have 2 people working on the map together, you can pick which parts of the map you want to work on, and then figure out a way to stitch them together later on. I wonder if that's the way to do it.
I think you're onto something there.
Yeah. I guess I could probably think about this some more, and it'd be I want to write more tutorials for Doomworld because there's still a lot of questions that come up, people not having inspiration, or they're not they don't know how to make their maps look good, they don't know how to get good gameplay or whatever, and there's all kinds of reasons why people can't finish their maps, but I would like to see more people collaborating together, and that doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's always really good. I mean, Sunlust is awesome, and that's Dana Babenga and Ribix.
Did they do did they do separate maps, or was it all collaborative efforts?
I think they did separate maps, but I think they did some touches on each other's maps too. I think. I don't know for sure though.
Yeah, I'd have to check. Like honestly, I know it's not quite for me because I'm not much of a slow map player, but I can appreciate the work that went into it, and they did a fine job.
Yeah, they certainly did, man. Those maps are beautiful.
DeHacked boss, but that's just me and my oh jeez.
But the thing about those maps though is Sunlust is a freaking amazing looking project, but those are Ribic's mapping style is very it's very unlike anybody else's. It's very strange. But it's also very good too, and I don't really know how to replicate it myself. I remember when I first started mapping, there were a lot of mappers such as Agent Spork and Tormentor around, and detailing was a pretty big deal. And
detailing?
Yeah, detailing maps, and I could see a lot of like the detail that they put into their maps, and it wasn't very difficult for me to replicate. And that's like kind of how I became the mapper that I am now. And if people are getting into mapping for the first time and they see a project like Sunlust, that's not very easy to copy. That's I don't even know how to do it myself. I mean, I guess I could look at it in more detail, but they have like such an abstract style that it's not really like Simplicity where it's just like these basic rooms that just happen to be detailed and have really nice texture alignment. It's something very unusual and unlike any other maps you might have played before. And I think Skillsaw's Ancient Aliens is kind of like that in some ways too.
Yeah, I almost contributed a map to that. Almost.
To Ancient Aliens?
Yeah, I was actually. It was this idea I had for a map 31. It was called the Prophets of Loss. And the idea was built around, like, the whole level you're walking around and you see these statues. And once you press a certain switch, the statues all teleport away and you end up fighting them.
Ooh.
The idea I had was that you could only kill them by gibbing them, because if you killed them regularly, they would come back to life.
Ooh.
The problem was that with the DeHacked that Agent Aliens used, the usual suspects that are used to make enemies and such had already been used, so I had to use other things, and it didn't work properly. And it was getting really close to the deadlines. So I ended up just handing off the whole mess to Skills and saying, "Here, maybe you can do something with this." And he never ended up using it, which I honestly can't blame him for. It was very unpolished.
Yeah, that's hard to do when people hand you a map that they're like, "Oh, I don't know what to do with this anymore," and then you have to finish it. That's
Yeah, I blame him for not doing it. it's a shame, but it was on me. I was
busy with stuff.
Ancient Aliens was released I think I started working on it when I was still studying, and then of course I came home and home life was a mess. So I never quite got the perfect climate to finish the map.
Yeah, right. That's very important.
I'd be working on other things as well, so it was mess.
Yeah, that's very important, is having the right place to actually like being in the right place to like design a map. Because I remember John Romero saying something about that. Like when he would work on his maps, he would get in the zone, and by doing that, he would turn off the lights and he would light up some candles and he'd put on some good music, and like just being in that nice calming environment where you can really like work on your maps and like really use your left side of your brain. I think that's the creative side, the left side, or maybe the right side. I don't know, but but like really getting into that zone and being like comfortable. Because like what I have a house, but I have things to do. Like I have things around the house that like need to be cleaned or fixed or whatever, and that's like distracting to me. So like I can't like focus on mapping as often as I can, because I'm like in this I'm surrounded by things that are like my mind's kind of clogged. I have things to do, and it's like distracting as I'm working on my maps. So I'm not able to focus on them as much. But being in like a nice relaxing environment and not being surrounded by distractions and all that kind of stuff, that's like really important to designing a good map as well.
Yeah. Well, honestly, like halfway through, you have very valid points there, and I'd take them into account. But think of him mapping to Careless Whisper, and I'm trying to imagine what sort of map would come from that. It would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Just light the candles, We put on a DVD copy of The Notebook in the background, even though it's 1994, but who gives a shit?
Yeah, I mean, if that's the kind of zone that works for you.
Unintentionally sexy music and make a map.
Yeah, and just make love with the Doom editor.
Oh, yes. But anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, make a sector of the rock's nose. That's totally what it is.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that? It was Nova 2, map 31. Someone found a sector penis and were really ticked off with it. So the mapper turned it into a picture of the rock. It's his nose, see? Mm.
A picture of the Rock?
Yes.
Of Dwayne Johnson? That's hilarious.
The Rock's face, Dwayne Johnson's face, and the sector penis in question was his nose. I believe it was North Velvet, who is an interesting little case. He tends to make rather... I think he's a good balance between gimmicks and gameplay.
Yeah. Who was this? You said Noisy Velvet?
Yes, that was his name.
Yeah, he worked on a map with Plutonia 1024, and he made a pretty fascinating map. It was very abstract, I would say. It's got a lot of like platforming elements and a lot of like height variation and stuff. Pretty cool.
I'm gonna have to one now. I still have Plutonia kicking around. I liked that megawad.
Yeah, that was fun. That was my entrance into managing community projects.
You hadn't done it before?
No, that was my first time, and I picked a style that I thought people would like, because I know there's already been like so many 1024 projects, and there's a Plutonia 2, Plutonia Revisited, and everybody likes Plutonia, so I just mashed the two ideas together because I knew people would be motivated to do that, and I just wanted to see if I could manage it, and it's pretty challenging sometimes, depending on the idea you have. I got pretty lucky because Plutonia 1024 is a really attractive map set to a lot of people. So I was able to get 32 maps in a pretty short amount of time.
Yeah, we almost didn't have 32 maps.
Yeah, that's right. That. Yeah, I almost stopped it at 29.
Glad we managed to round it out. I'm very glad we managed to round it out, mainly because like the maps, like half the maps that were excluded were mine. So interestingly enough, like two of the maps that I did for that were actually in conjunction with other people. But like the map 29 was me and General Rainbow Bacon just passed the map back and forward as we did, because we did a lot of speed mapping at the time.
Yeah.
And the map 30 was mostly me, but that lovely gentleman by the name of Effingham Hofnagel. I have to pronounce it like that because it's a lovely name.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
Lovely. But he worked out how to fight the icon in it, which was a rather interesting idea, and it eventually came together quite nicely. I liked what I did for that project.
Yeah.
Especially map 32. That was fun. I still remember Tansman's reaction to it. He was expecting a go to it crammed into a 1024 square.
Cool. That would have been fun.
He surprised what he found instead.
Yeah, it was a cool idea. It was the project came together pretty well. I got lucky because there was a lot of people participating in it, and it just became. Yeah, it just became at the very end. It just became a matter of finding the bugs and working out the gameplay and stuff. But most of the maps that people made were very good, so I was very fortunate with that. But when I worked on other community projects like Mutiny, that was a bit tougher to carry. Just because there wasn't as many. Well, I think another part of the reason was because I think I started the project at a good time. It was like the start of the summer, so a lot of people had free time. And when I started Mutiny, it was like kind of like the middle of winter, so people had their jobs and they had school and all kinds of stuff. They had all these other real life obligations.
When did I start trying to do Into the Void? I'm gonna again looking it up. Jeez.
I wonder if that has something to do. I wonder if like that's something to keep in mind as somebody who wants to start a community project, is actually like starting it at the right time, the time when everybody's available.
That is a very good point, honestly. That might have been where I went wrong, because I couldn't figure out where I went wrong for the longest of times. But this sounds actually quite this sounds quite a
possible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good possibility. Hold on, let's see. Into the Void, Not Dead. That was the title. It's totally dead. Let's see. January 4th. That would have been summer for me, so actually would have been winter for everyone else. It would have been winter in the US at any rate.
Yeah.
So I think I was just on the cusp of the wrong time there. It was at the start of 2016. Then again, 2016 was the year everything ever went wrong, so...
That is true. God damn it, 2016.
Yeah. You took Bowie! Why did you take Bowie?
You took my community project.
I'm more sad about Bowie, honestly.
Yeah.
Still can't believe it. Jeez. I need to listen to the album he released, that Black Star one. It was kind of odd, but I probably like it better when I re-listen to it, I think. Yeah.
What I really want to listen to is the Quake soundtrack on vinyl. Did you hear about that?
Ooh, oh, that sounds nice. So that's why John Romero was talking about Quake.
Yeah,
that's
Trent Reznor released the Quake soundtrack on a vinyl record, and I don't know how much it is. It's probably like $50 or something. But
I'd say more, honestly.
Yeah, probably. It's like a collector's item, I bet.
Oh yeah.
But that would be nice to have.
It's not exactly well, it's more ambience than music. Like the only thing I can think of to do with it is to, like, if you're a manager and you have a board meeting, what you do is you put it on extremely quietly when someone you want to intimidate walks in. You put it extremely quietly so they can just hear it just at the bottom of their ears or something like that, and then it slowly gets louder, and when they ask about it, you pretend like there's nothing happening.
Yeah, like having Damnation play in the background, like really, really quietly during a job interview. Oh, that would be terrifying.
Yeah. You could probably do a similar idea with My Heaven from Silent Hill.
Yeah, right.
That they literally sampled a dentist drill for that. It's great.
So what makes you want to work here?
I didn't quite get that. Apologies.
What makes you want to work here? What brings you to this company?
You see, I wanted to improve my synergy with... Do you hear something? I swear I can hear something. It sounds like a dentist drill.
It's a dentist drill and a baby crying.
Oh, yeah, that was what it sounded like. It's a really weird noise. It's pretty odd.
Oh, man.
Sort of veering off into a tangent, but that's probably the best use I can think of for the Quake soundtrack, to have it playing at a very low volume in rooms where people don't expect it.
Yeah, I heard...
Like if theme music or something.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that sort of thing.
Aubrey Hodges talked about remastering the Doom 64 soundtrack around the time it was Doom 64's 20th anniversary. And I haven't heard from him since then. I hope he's still working on it. It sounds really cool.
To be honest, I really want Doom 64, like, off the Doom 64. Like, I haven't played it as of yet. I haven't gotten the Doom 64 EX or whatever working.
So you haven't got it working? That's so disappointing. That's got to suck, because Doom 64X is awesome.
Yeah, I still haven't got it working, and of course no one can get a Nintendo 64 these days, at least not in New Zealand.
Yeah. That sucks,
yeah,
man. So have you ever played Doom 64?
No, never.
Really?
Yeah, I would not mind playing it, because it has some interesting ideas. Like, it's more ambience oriented. It's like...
Yeah.
Actually, I wonder what sort of parallel you could draw to that and Doom 3.
Yeah, it does look like the bridge between, like, Doom 2 and Doom 3. It's like...
I've been playing a bit of Doom 3 recently because... I need something to play. Binding of Isaac isn't scratching the itch right now. I've played it so many times that I've probably got an imprint of a crying child on my brain or something. But yeah, I'm playing a bit of Doom 3, and it's an interesting exercise. It's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
It's just not Doom, and that's what I got pilloried for.
Exactly. Yeah, it's something else. But Doom 64 is like kind of like that too, but it's a little bit better. Because it has a lot of the regular Doom elements in it. It's got all the same monsters, except it's missing a couple of them. It doesn't have a chain gunner or an arc vial. But
I'm annoyed about that.
Or Revenants.
Some people pronounce it like that. I pronounce it Archvile. What is the proper way of doing that anyway?
That's a good question. I don't know. I always thought it was Archvile, like as an archangel. But it could be Archvile. I don't know. I've heard it pronounced different ways.
As well, I was pronounced an archangel. Which one's right? You use a CH or a K.
Your accent is wrong. Okay, you have to pronounce it the American way.
Next you're gonna say GIFs all the time or something.
I do. No, I don't say GIFs actually. I say GIFs.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, because why would you say GIF? GIFs remind me of Jif peanut butter.
Jif reminds me of a cleaning product we used to have here. It was called Jif.
Oh yeah, that's right. I've heard about that. So yeah, that's strange. Yeah, it's definitely GIFs. I don't know why anybody would pronounce it GIF.
Yeah.
Doom 64 is awesome though. I'm trying to get in contact with Sucru Gilman, who is the lead artist behind Doom 64. And I got a message back from him, but I sent him another email and he hasn't responded to it yet. But I'm hoping to get him on the show so he can talk about like the idea behind like the art that's used in Doom 64, because it is like a much more sinister, creepy, ambient kind of style. And I'm wondering where he got the idea to do that.
I think it deserved so much better than just being on the Nintendo 64.
I think you're right.
It deserved a much better fate than what it has.
Yeah, it's I know it's very cool, and it's weird that you can only get it on the Doom 64 because it's such a cool product. Doom 64 the Nintendo 64 had a lot of like really cool exclusive products too.
Yeah, haven't really looked into what's on it, to be honest. I was more of a PlayStation boy when I was growing up.
Me too. But I had friends who had Nintendo 64, and they got to play games like Turok and like GoldenEye and stuff like that. You couldn't get those on other platforms.
Yeah, I played Crash Bandicoot. That was me.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot.
Ding, 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 ding. We must play the Insane Trilogy at some point. Sort of very point though, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. I mean, I used to when I started the show, I wanted to make these things a little more like the topics like a little more focused, I guess. But I don't know. We can just talk about whatever we want. I don't really care. I mean,
this has been pretty much an hour and a half of just rambling about and getting to Doom stuff, which is fine, honestly.
No, that's okay. I mean, we have been talking about Doom stuff because, well, we're connected in the fact that we're both Doom fans, and that's kind of like basically how we became friends in the first place, as is with most people on DoomWorld. So we do have that in common, and we do talk about Doom. And even though, I mean, if we're not talking everything about Doom, that's okay. I mean, I would run out of episodes if I had to come up with like a specific topic each time. So this is usually what happens when I invite people on the show. We just talk about whatever.
Yeah, just a nice chin wag. That's fine by me.
Yeah, it's very it's kind of like mind opening because like we got to talk a little bit about like different methods of designing levels and stuff. And
you can things. So
it's
sorry, did I interrupt?
No, it's okay. When we talk about like different methods of designing maps and stuff, it's kind of inspirational, not just for you or me, but it's inspirational for the people that are listening too, because they can kind of like maybe they haven't thought about this themselves, and like listening to people talk about it is probably way more useful than like taking the time to like read through every post on DoomWorld.
Yeah.
But
speaking of watching, I'm just looking at the Twitch stream at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Are you playing something right now?
No, I am. Well, the Twitch stream is I have this playlist of demos that I have. Basically, I record everything that I play, so I have like this huge library of demos of just like WADs that I played, and I have a batch file that'll play them all in random order. So they're just kind of playing in the background. So like I'm not actually playing right now. I just have demos playing in the background so people can watch while we're talking. But that's not the case for people that are listening on YouTube. I don't record all those demos and put them on YouTube. It's only on Twitch. That's one of the benefits of that's one of the benefits of following me on Twitch is you get to watch my cool demos where I just play at a very just basic slow pace and kill monsters.
Yeah, at the moment it's quite interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
I need to play Mutiny proper, like I really do. I'm still kind of sad that I couldn't make the boss for that, but such is life.
Yeah, it was a very cool idea, but I wanted to. The project lasted a lot longer than I wanted to. I was hoping I could get it done within a year, and as like it was creeping up to like year 2 or 3 or something, and I was just like, all right, we got to get this done. So I just kind of packed all the maps together and released it.
Yeah, I can't blame you for that. There wasn't really much coming together on my end either, so I was supposed to be mapping with Zazer, but he's a busy sort, and we never got anything substantial done. He did a big bit of map, and then I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
because his mapping style is so radically different from mine. He goes for much more unusual spaces, and the spaces for me are usually just small. That's usually my general way that I work.
Yeah, Zazer's maps are really fascinating, and it works really well when he's paired with Natural 20, especially in No End in Sight. It's their styles really complete each other. It's really amazing.
Honestly, I thought I'd do better working with him because I was thinking, we both have crazy ideas, but it didn't quite work out. I think it was a lack of communication because he was difficult to reach quite a few times because he was so busy.
Yeah,
so we never really think cohesive together.
All the best mappers are so busy these days. It's just, I guess it's just, I don't know. If people are busy, I guess they're working on their own projects and stuff. But that's a shame because there's a lot of people who are like looking to have partners, but I guess they don't have a lot of experience yet, so they can be kind of difficult to work with if your styles aren't like working together. I don't know.
Speaking of which, I need to contact Donut because I was trying to work on something with him, and again, communication. We haven't really done much of it because I think he sticks to IRC, and I haven't been on IRC since I discovered the Doom to a Discord server.
Oh, there's a Discord server? I didn't even know about that. I've been on the IRC channel for a while, and nobody's using that anymore. I mean, people are still on it, but nobody's talking.
Discord. I know Prince doesn't go on IRC at all anymore, and I can't be bothered because I usually have to open up something completely different for it. I used to use OFTC, but that collapsed on me for a bit, and I ended up using it was Doom Explorer. Yeah. So I generally have to open like a whole new program just to go on IRC, and eventually, like when I discovered Discord, I was just like, screw it. So now I have to open an entirely different thing for Discord because that's the only way you can do voice calls. So joke's on me, I guess.
Yeah, I'm still partial to IRC though. I just like the very basic interface of it. It's just like it's almost like typing on Notepad. It's just it's very
it is simplistic.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that about it. Discord.
You're missing out on the moaning H-Doom emoji. It wasn't a moaning. I think it was just like a general anime girl sort of looking thing.
Yeah, I don't use Discord that much though. I don't like the interface. It's strange to me, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old geezer.
It's sort of an alternative to Skype because Skype is like it's about as balanced as a mattress balancing on a bottle of wine. So I don't know. Okay, they're two separate things. There's the H-Doom imp, and then there's this anime woman moaning. Also a Bubsy emoji. I'm guessing from Alfonso and Tansman's shenanigans. It's fun looking at some of the stuff they've done. It's great.
Yeah.
They work very well together, honestly.
They really do, yeah.
They're Doomworld's resident married couple.
All right. Do you wanna wrap this up?
Probably should. It is getting getting close to 2 hours. I don't know if we can keep our audience captive this long.
Well, yeah. I mean, whatever. But Yeah, I'm really glad I got to talk to you again, man. I miss talking to you. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun talking to people in general. Honestly, I've been way too busy to do stuff lately, but I'm trying to slow down a little.
Yeah, well, that's good, man. I'm trying to slow down too. I got some things coming up. I'm going on a trip to Europe in a few weeks, so that'll be pretty exciting. I'm prepping for that. And
shame you can't stay in New Zealand.
Yeah, I know that New Zealand is one place I'd like to see. Is I don't know. That's something I'll have to keep in mind, because that would be. It's a very beautiful country, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely. It's proper lovely. It's winter at the moment, but it's lovely. It's lovely in summer.
Do you get really cold winters?
I didn't quite catch that. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Do you get really cold winters?
I think this winter in particular has been kind of cold. I'm in my new apartment, and there's like big windows facing out onto the balcony, so the cold does get in a fair bit.
Okay.
It's a bit chilly one, but summers are lovely.
That's pretty cool.
It's a nice little place. I'm not an outdoorsy person, so I wouldn't know much about that. But yeah, it's generally a pretty nice place to be.
I'm not much of an outdoorsy person myself, but I did go camping recently, and I went with my cousin Jay, who I had on the podcast once before, and my brother Randy, who goes by Messiah, and we went on this camping trip to the Appalachian Mountain Trail, which is like this mountain range that's like it's about 100 miles away from where I live, so it was a bit of a drive. But once we got there, we hiked up this mountain trail, and we set up camp at the top of this ridge where we could overlook this like we could see the cities, like it was like late at night, and we could see all the lights of the cities over the horizon. It was pretty amazing. But we set up camp, and we set up a tent, and my cousin Jay, he brought with him his laptop, and he brought a laser projector, and he brought 4 Logitech F310 controllers. So he set up Quake 3 on his laptop, and he turned on the projector, and he put the projector on the inside of the tent. So we were playing Quake on top of a mountain in a tent. It was amazing. It was so much fun.
Oh, isn't it good to get away from technology and the city life?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good thing it's summer where you guys are, because I'd fear for the equipment otherwise.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was pretty awesome though. It was.
I should do that sometime.
Yeah.
I just project Quake 1 onto there or something, because that's the one I prefer. Like, I haven't played the other Quakes, but from what I understand, they get away from the Lovecraftian theme. Yeah. And that's the reason I like Quake. It's that thing that I really wish id Software would, exploit.
Yeah, me too. I really like Doom 2's like wood and like dark bricks and all that like castle-y type of stuff. There's really not not to say that there's not a lot of it, but it's something that I really enjoy about Doom, and I would definitely like to see that explored more, because Quake did an awesome job with like all the. I mean, it gets criticized for being so brown, but I love brown I love the
brown.
It's a great color. Sorry.
They do a good job with what they have. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, and it's like these cool medieval castles. It's a very cool theme.
And honestly, it was probably ahead of its time, because, like there was that whole stretch of Modern Warfare shooters where everything was in 50 Shades of Brown, so...
Yeah.
It was ahead of its time.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess we can wrap this up. Thanks again for being on the show, man. I really appreciate it. It was awesome talking to you again.
It was great talking to you. I'd love to do this again sometime.
Yeah, we will. Who knows, well, I'll keep in contact.
Heck, if you need a co-host...
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking to Splatterhouse, but he's busy he's in between jobs right now, and he actually just called me recently. He's been having some trouble, personal stuff mostly, but it's been kind of stopping him from being able to play Doom and be involved in this podcast. So it sucks.
Real life gets in the way of the important stuff.
Yeah.
Also, Pinch sent me a blown-up picture of the Bubsy emoji.
Yeah, the important stuff, like hosting a Doom podcast. But yeah, I'd be happy to have you on the show again. Well, I'll keep in contact. And last time I was talking to Tormentor, I said that I'd be talking to Impy next, and I ended up talking to you because we actually didn't have this all set up yet. This is kind of an impromptu thing. But I will be talking to Impy on Tuesday, and then after that, I'll be talking to Natural 20, and I have some other cool people I'll be talking to soon too, but we're still working some things out. I'm also hoping to I'm hoping to talk to some more people, such as Sean Green. I'm in contact with him on Facebook.
Sean Green, very cool.
Yeah, that'll be really fun. I'll have to talk to him again. We'll see if we can work something out.
See if you can get an interview with Alfonso.
Yeah, I actually did. I did talk to him once. In fact, I should probably have him on the show again so we can trash talk each other before our duel.
That would be great, honestly. Like just both furiously try to interview each other and see who comes out on top.
Yeah, it's a good idea, man. Okay, thank you, Space Marines, for listening, and check out Obsidian's. Well, I don't know. How do people contact you? I guess they can just reach to you on DoomWorld. I guess.
Yeah, I'm on the Discord. I'm on the Doom Twin Discord server.
That's right.
Me. And of course, you can always give me a private message on DoomWorld. So.
Okay, cool.
If you need to find me, you know where to find me.
Okay. All right. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you later.
Catch you around.